everybody? Thanks for watching. Now, we can see the problems in the black community with the African American relationship with the black family. We know it really stems from poverty, and poverty is something that most people in the black community is dealing with. Either you have a job and you work, or you're on welfare, or you hustle. Some people live off a family member, live off a grandmother or a friend or what have you. This is basically poverty in the black community, and it's something that most people are dealing with. Now, you have those people who have a good job and making pretty good money. Their relationship is basically going to be based off of their mindset. What is their mindset? And we really get, really learn how to be in a relationship and how a relationship's supposed to be from our parents. If you grew up in a household that has two parents, a mom and a dad, and they got a pretty good relationship and everything is doing good, then you really get those morals, those family values. And I talked about this before. You really get those family values from your parents. They instill that in you and you carry it with you. So, if everything's right in the household, your parents work, or at least one of them works, and they're doing well, and you go to school and they put you through college, and you graduate and you become successful as well, and then they leave you a bunch of money or everything that they accumulated during their lifetime. They leave it to the children, and the children put that on top of the success that they already have. This is how generational wealth begins. It really starts with the parents instilling really good morals and values in the children, and the parents themselves being successful and being able to pass down success to children, and the children carry that, and so on and so forth. Now, with relationships, if you're in a household that has a really good relationship, as I said, children are most likely to follow that pattern because that's what they know. Mom, dad was married, grandparents was married, aunts, uncles, whatever. You see down the line, you have a family of people who are in committed relationships, and because of that commitment, they see that they was able to spawn wealth, from being in a committed relationship and having, two people contributing to the family system. So this is one of the things that's, of course, a problem in the black community. And we know what, so many black males being arrested and taken out of the community. It's not going to be easy for a lot of black people to see how, we can say how society tells us a family should be. But when you base it upon how you have to function in this society, having two parents and having two successful parents is basically what you want to see in every household. Now, for hundreds of years, white families have been able to build wealth, to build generational wealth and be successful and pass things down, to their descendants, to their family members, businesses and corporations and properties and what have you. And, they've been able to do this first, by free labor, slave labor. And second, by what I talked about before, and that's really integration. Now, I went into this deeply before in the previous video. I'm gonna go into it a little bit here, but I want you to really understand the purpose of integration and what it really was for. And it wasn't so we can, sing kumbaya with white people or what have you. And as I talked about in that video, Dr. King was basically tricked into integration. And when you really pay attention to what was going on in the American economy around that time, you can really understand why integration was needed. But then when you pay attention to the aftermath economically of what happened with integration, you can see that it only benefited white America and not us, which is obviously clear. So now with integration, first you got to remember that the economy wasn't doing so well right before, during, and a little bit after integration. Remember, I talked about how Ronald Reagan gave the speech when he was campaigning for a presidential candidate, and he basically gave that historic speech about the economy and spending and everything like that, and how it was a big problem. So now, when you look at how the economy was failing, if you take a white economy or just a white community, and if that community has $10 million circulating within that whole economy, right? 10 million. What happens is as long as everybody in that economy, as long as people are spending money and not saving money, then that economy will be fine. But you look at it and let's just say Tim, he's a business owner. When he gets his cut of the money, he, pays his employees, pays his mortgage, pays his bills, take care of some personal stuff. And he's basically putting that money right back out into the economy so it can circulate, his employees as well. The money is going right back into the economy. So if, let's say, 10 businesses sprang up within that economy, now you have people who didn't have jobs before now having jobs and taking a cut of that 10 million, basically causing that 10 million to take longer to circulate, one, but also diminish a little bit. Everybody's not getting the same cut as before. Now you have this business owner who basically has to compete with these 10 new businesses that spring up. So his cut is not the same as it used to be. So now he has to basically cut hours, maybe lay off some people. And he's not really getting that same chunky change that he's used to, from the 10 million. So what's going to happen is most of the people are going to realize that, money is not circulating as fast as it used to. And my cut is not the same as it was before. So I'm going to start saving money. So once you have half of the people decide, well, wait a minute, I got to save money to last me until the next time I get paid. Basically living paycheck to paycheck. Black people know all about that. And what's going to happen is that 10 million is going to diminish. So once it cycles once and then people hold it instead of putting it back out into the economy, that 10 million is going to turn into 5 million. Now, that's not enough. That 5 million is not enough to keep the businesses open, to keep the money circulating. So now businesses got to cut costs. They got to lay off people. They got to fire some people, all kinds of stuff. So this basically causes an economy to collapse or to be in really serious economic trouble. And you will have the officials will have to figure out a way to get people to spend money, which is why we have all kinds of sales or what have you, in our economy today. You have to have sales. You got to generate a lot of attention, a lot of buzz to get people to spend money. And if you can't get people to spend money, that economy will fail. Now, you got to understand something. The only way you can boost an economy is to bring in outside money. It's just that simple. You have to bring in outside money. You have to. So now you have integration. You have desegregation, and you have all these black people who are now able to come and spend money in these white communities, to be able to come in and work in these communities. So now you have a whole group of people coming in and spending money in your economy. Now that's fine. As long as none of these people stay, as long as they spend their money and leave, the economy will flourish. You have a big boost of money coming into your economy. They coming in, they spending money. It doesn't matter if they work there, if you got to work with them, because at the end of the day, they're leaving your community, they're leaving your economy and going back to the ghetto. They're going back to the hood, wherever they came from, leaving all that money there in your economy to circulate. Now it's enough money to circulate, enough money for people to save, enough money for people to invest or what have you, because you have all this new influx of outside money coming in. So we can see the boost to the economy when integration happened. You had, that whole influx, that whole flow of African American money, our buying power coming into the white community, where most of the stores was, all the businesses was. Remember, those black people who was able to move into those communities had white landlords, so they had to pay them money. You had to pay the utility company and what have you. And, most of the people who held those jobs were basically white people anyway. So it was more jobs for them and what have you. All the new construction had to go up, and it was just a boost to the economy with integration that we clearly didn't really benefit from. We benefited from it a little, but not as much as we should have. They already had a lead on us in wealth. And with, integration, it was a big boost to the economy. So now you got to understand that, businesses is everything. Community survival is really dependent on its businesses. So you got to have businesses. You got to have outsiders coming in and spending money. Cities they spend billions of dollars a year on tourism. They spend billions of dollars a year on tourism because you got to have an influx of outsiders coming into your city and bringing in this outside money to boost your economy. So you see why, we have all-star games and they basically share it. It's passed around each year, different city. Same thing with the Super Bowl. And you have celebrities and entertainers that basically they go on tour city to city, bringing people with them. And this basically brings a big influx of money to each city. So tourism, it's a huge thing. Every city knows about it. Every city has a huge tourist market, and they are all about bringing in people and bringing in their outside money into the city to basically boost the economy. And it's the same thing on a smaller level with a community. So if your community has businesses that none of the people in the community own, then that money is not really going to go to the community. It's going to go back to the owner and wherever he lives at in his community and his people or what have you. So this is something that we have to understand economically as Black people. And it really is a major thing that's playing, that's a huge reason why the African-American family is in the state that it is. But as I said, this is all by design. It was planned to go like that. We was not educated on such things, so we didn't really understand how this stuff really works. And, you would think, by now, really think about it. You would think by now, after all these years, we would have seen, a big boost of Black businesses and, the Black community having Black businesses or what have you. This shows you that, the oppression is strong and it's still going on and their plan is still working. And a lot of people don't have no clue what that is. So businesses and corporations already understand this. You can see advertising is everything. Getting people to buy your product is a big thing. This is a business-driven society. Corporations basically run everything because that model that I gave you first is really, really important to them. They understand they have to bring in outside money. If you got businesses in this city, so we think about this stuff on a smaller level. These people have major corporations and they have businesses all over the world, all over the country. So you understand if you have 20 or 30 businesses in this city, then you really need this city to be doing well. If Coca-Cola is the number one drink in the world and it's in every major city, and usually they get big boost in dollars and money from events, people buying, tons and tons of soda, for major parties or major events or what have you. And this is something that you got to contribute to see go on. So if Coca-Cola sponsors something, with sports or something with, any kind of entertainment, then obviously they're going to most likely buy those drinks and, they'll continue to, share that business. So Coca-Cola has to make sure it has an investment in cities. It has an investment in sports, entertainment, and what have you. It's the same thing with every major corporation. They understand it's on a bigger scale that a lot of people don't realize. So they have to make sure that these cities where they have their products in is having a continual influx of people coming in. And it's almost like, just circulating money. One city gets a big boost, and then the events move to another city, it gets a big boost. But it don't really matter if you got businesses. It's like Monopoly. You land here, you got to pay. It don't matter if you got cities in each of these, or businesses, I should say, in each of these cities. As soon as the entertainment lands there, that's money for you. And it's basically how this works. This is why we can see that all these corporations have lobbyists and that they go basically hand in hand with the government. And it's a lot of people's problem. They keep separating these businesses from government, and you really need to put them in the same boat because, one, the government going to get its money. No matter what, no matter where you live, you got to pay taxes. But the government can get more tax money if these businesses are doing well. So the more stuff you buy, the more taxes you pay. Regardless, the government going to get its cut, but it gets a bigger cut if these businesses are doing well, and vice versa. If the government doesn't have problems in certain areas that's keeping, let's say, tourism out of a city, this is what these lobbyists take care of. They make sure that the way is open for people to come in and set up businesses and for people to come in and spend money. And it's basically what's going on. And everybody's making money and everybody's in a loop and getting paid, except for black people. We're the only one who haven't figured out this economics yet, because it's kind of complicated, but it's really simple when you grasp it and when you really understand it. It's really not as tough as people make it out to be. You need to get businesses. You need to have lobbyists lobbying for your best interest. And everybody has that except for us. We don't have that because we don't have the businesses. We don't have major corporations. People, so many black people keep taking this money under the table to basically work, for the opposition. So if you are a celebrity or a sports athlete and you get in these crazy amounts of money, I mean, you obligated under contract to, almost basically not do nothing with it but, dunk a basketball, run a football, go buy some cars, buy a big house, but don't you go boost the black community. Don't you go boost that economy. Don't you mess with these black people in the hood, because we need them to go to work for us, to go back to our stores and spend their money to keep us rich. And this is basically what's going on. Now, it was always about oppression. It's always about oppressing black people. But now these corporations and these government need us to basically spend money and to boost their economy and make them money and make them even more wealthier. But at the same time, keeping ourselves in a state of poverty, a state of ignorance, and basically a state of self-hate. And this is what we're seeing. So the sabotage has been on for a long time. It has been on for a while. And as I talked about before, generational wealth begins with the parents. And if you understand that, and if you don't want these people to basically do what you did. Now, imagine black people just got together and start putting together our own businesses, backing our own businesses, and had our own businesses in the black community. Downtown we have more businesses than they do. If at least in predominantly black cities, we had more businesses than anybody else. If that was just the case. I mean, one, you see how we can stick together when it's something pertaining to race, to black people. We can kind of sort of do that. So if our product is correct, if it's right, the black people will spend money with black people. It's just that simple. But they have to keep us in a state of ignorance and a state of wanting their product more than we want to create our own. And this is basically what's going on. So now we thinking the product is us, but really they reaping all the benefits. So, while you spending money to go to the concert and buy CDs and, go to the movies and everything that you do to see your favorite actor or rapper or what have you, you got to realize all that money, that wealth, almost all of it, most of it is going to them. It's not really going back into your community. They leaving with that money. So we got to realize that this is what's happening, that we don't have nothing in our community that's going to build wealth for us and contribute to the community flourishing, and not that money leaving the community and helping other people send their kids to college. So if you are an oppressor, if you are this economy, these people who don't want to see us flourish, and you understand that generational wealth begins with the family. It begins with a stable, successful family. Then you have to destroy that. So if you understand that, then you implant drugs in the black community. You watch people destroy themselves and become addicted to it. You watch men who are living in poverty trying to figure out a way to make money, sell it to their own people, and then watch it destroy the community. You watch a wife get addicted to it. You allow that to happen, and now she's addicted, and now she's not there to run the household, to keep the household going. The father's out there trying to make money. Then he gets arrested and basically put in a prison system that was designed, to make money off of him. So now they're making money off of the father, by basically taking prison contracts and having these prisoners manufacture products, at low cost to them. So this is basically the whole prison industrial complex that everybody's been talking about, that has been implemented to basically destroy the black family. And we know a black woman, she can't really raise a black man correctly on her own. So now you have an unstable household, and it just keeps repeating itself. You see the kid, he sees his mom struggling. He can go out there and sell some rocks and make money real fast. He gonna follow in his dad's footsteps. And we've seen that a lot, where you have father and son in prison together. And this is the sabotage that basically happened in the black community. I understand I have to keep these people down in a low state. I have to make them hate themselves. I have to keep them ignorant. So I'm going to take away every single artist, all the music that's about hope and peace and success and stuff like that, and fill it up with a bunch of negative, women hating, derogatory messages that's subliminal, that's telling them bad is good, dope is good, murdering, killing people, all that is gangster. Gangster is good. Disrespecting your women, that's good. All kinds of stuff like that. There's subliminal messages attached to this music. I'm going to put that in the black community as well. And then, we thinking that it's us, that it's our music, and we feeding off of that. We destroying the community, destroying the household, and destroying the foundation that basically is going to afford us generational wealth. And you have so many people out here that's just messed up off of this society. That's a trap. And I always talk about that. It's a trap. It's a setup. We're not realizing it because we find entertainment in our own destruction, with this music industry, and it's destroying us. And I don't care how much you like the music, how much you think it's all that and it's fun and this and that, it's destroying us. It has been. And a lot of people don't want to admit that because they are entertained by it. So if you got people who living in poverty and they turn on the TV and they see these rappers with money, clothes, cars, girls, then they're going to see that, there's no other way I can get this kind of success other than rapping. So in order for me to basically be a rapper, I got to live this rapper lifestyle. And then you get people mimicking the music. And I always talk about this stuff, I can go on about this. This is stuff that we all know, but people don't want to really grasp how serious this stuff is. Because they like award shows, they like music videos, they like music. And, it's crazy. And it's destroying the black community. It's destroying the black family and the black relationship. And it has been doing so, for a long time. But this is all to keep us in this state of poverty so they can continue, because they're basically feeding off of us. I mean, you have so many people coming into the black community feeding off of black people. We get put down so much. We get called all kinds of names, lazy and what have you. And we are basically putting these kids through college. We feeding their families. Plain and simple. We spend more money. Our buying power is more than any other race in this country. We spend more money. Anytime you're spending about $1 trillion a year, boosting the economy, something should come back to the black community, and it's not. And we see this happen every year, and we allow it, and we don't really, say nothing about it. People just content with going to work, making money, putting this money back out into the economy and not receiving nothing back. Because when you go to work and you get that paycheck, you got to give them that money right back, because you got to pay your bills. That's theirs. You got to go to their stores. That's theirs. You got to buy your food. That's theirs. All your money is going right back to them. So you're basically a slave. They're just giving you enough money to function, to survive on. And you're giving that money right back to them. That's all it is. And I talked about this before. So now if you have all these men, basically copying what they seeing on TV, trying to be gangsters and trying to be every negative thing that's basically destroying the black community, this is what the women have to look to. And then you don't have much positive music, out there anymore. So now the women, they listening to the most popular female group in the country basically say, I need a soldier. If his status ain't hood, what is that? He better be street if he looking at me. Ladies, leave your man at home. The club is full of ballers and their pockets full grown. Can't pay my bills. Then you got rappers with songs like Alphabet Bitches. Is you gonna suck it or not? Big Pimpin', Girls, 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 and all these songs that's basically derogatory as hell. And you got women basically shaking their ass to these songs and dancing. And a lot of girls always say, well, I don't really listen to the words. I just like the beat. But these guys is listening to the words. And they take it seriously. And they think that you must don't really care about the words because you in the club with him shaking your ass. You dancing all on him to this song that's basically calling you all kinds of hoes and names. And he think you cool with that because you here. Now, it may not be something that you both consciously agree to, but subconsciously, because this music basically messes with your subconscious. Subconsciously, this is the agreement that y'all came here with, that this is what we about in this music. Now, you can say consciously, man, that's bullshit. When I come to the club to dance, I'm just coming to have a good time. I ain't coming there to be no hoe and this and that. I'm just trying to have fun. But subconsciously, this is what the music is implanting in both of you. This is what it's definitely implanting in men. So, you get these relationships started, based off of this. The black family is not going to function off of this. We can't function off of music and off of a culture that's telling us to destroy each other and to disrespect each other. How are we going to function off of that? And if the parents is the basis for generational wealth and success, and the parents are coming together off of this negativity, what you think our kids' future or those kids' future is going to be like? And this is what we're seeing. We are seeing the result of this. All you 90s babies who got kids now, 80s babies who got kids now as well. We seeing the result. We seeing how it goes. It's the culture, this hip hop culture, that's driving the whole thing, and it's been implanted to do exactly what it's doing, and that is destroy us and keep us apart. And it really starts with the music and this culture, and the music is a big point. I always attack the music, and I know people always say, you're always attacking hip hop and this and that. It's the truth. They take away everything that's good for us. Think about it. Everything. Every single leader that was good, that was trying to do something for black people, has been killed. They killed them all. So why would they put millions, they put billions of dollars a year behind hip hop? Just think about all the shows. Think about all the albums that come out, all the music videos that cost millions to make. These corporations, which we do not own, we don't run the hip hop. We don't run hip hop. We don't run it. If you think we run it, you delusional. These corporations put millions of dollars to sign these artists, to back these people, to spend all this money, commercials, music videos, or what have you. For what? To help black people? To help us out? I'm going to make this black dude rich so he can go back and help people in the black community. When has that happened? We ain't seeing these hip hop artists come back to the black community and spend millions and millions of dollars to boost the black community, to help the economy. So the whole situation must be done for something else. And it's exactly what I'm talking about. It has been done for a negative reason, to help keep the black community in a perpetual state of ignorance, to help keep us in poverty. Because when you have so many rich millionaire and billionaire black people, and the black community for decade after decade after decade is still in a perpetual state of poverty, something is wrong. And you got to look at it and say, what the fuck is it? And the reason why you can't figure out what it is because you're being entertained by it. You have found entertainment in your own destruction, as I always say. You like it. It's a drug. And when people is hooked, when they have an addiction to something, it's hard for them to, first of all, admit that it's a problem, and for them to want to get rid of it. So what happens when you come at people talking against hip hop? Man, you tripping, you corny. Something wrong with you. Ain't nothing wrong with hip hop. I guess so many people defending all this negativity that's clearly destroying the black family, clearly destroying the black community, and they sit back and wonder why, shit ain't working out. What's the problem? So many people keep screaming all the time, well, the white man this, the white man that. He oppressing us, he keeping us down. But then you go out and you spend money on his artist. You spend money on his show. You go to his stores, you buy his clothes. You do everything to keep him in a position of power, to oppress you. And then when it comes time to do something about it, it's an excuse. Man, it ain't that serious, dog. You tripping. And if you be real with yourself and just pay attention to everything that's been going on, you can see, yeah, the shit is fun. People like hip hop, the music is fun. You can dance to it, what have you. Everybody like to have a good time and this and that. And this is what people think about getting rid of hip hop or changing hip hop. This is what you're going to be taking away. But what you're really going to be taking away is the negativity. And if you inject positivity into hip hop, because I still believe, hip hop is good. It can be made to be good, and just like it's destroying the black community, it can fix it. But we don't own it. We can't put this positive hip hop mainstream. You get songs here and there once in a blue moon. But if it's not the culture, if the culture is not about success, wealth, family, education, if the culture is not about that, then we're going to be where we're at now. So I get this question a lot, and you get so many black people walking around trying to figure out, what's wrong with the black relationship? What's wrong with the black family? Why can't we seem to get along? And it's the culture. It's been sabotaged. Our culture's been sabotaged, and we basically living in a culture where people ain't got to be real. Everybody walking around talking about keeping it real, keeping it real. If you actually keeping it real, then you don't have to say, keeping it real. It just goes without saying. You just are what you are supposed to be. Truth, real. And, so many people are so fake because the culture is fake. It's not us. It's just really based off being something that you are not. Being something that is popular when you really get down to it. Being cool or trying to be something that you've seen on TV or what the culture is basically, conducive to. People just living this way and, this kind of style and these kind of clothes and this shoes and this hairstyle and dance like this and rap like that. This is what the culture is really about. But as far as what's really important about a society, about a people, a community growing and being successful and basically, being economically stable, we're not getting that from our culture. It's in their culture. They can pass down wealth. They have the morals in their household to basically, have generational wealth. We don't have it. And, for people who are lucky enough to find somebody and be in a relationship together, then, in this culture, they got a lot of shit to go through. They're getting constantly attacked, by social media. I mean, I don't know how a relationship can survive social media. You have to have a really strong relationship. And if you're in a relationship, both of y'all got Facebook or Instagram, and y'all still together, y'all been together for over a year, y'all deserve a round of a fucking applause. Because one, your girl can't post a picture without 20, 30 dudes, trying to hit that. And that's basically what you see all the time, especially if your girl look real good. Then, she getting DM'd immediately. And, some relationships can't handle that. And that's stressful. Some women can't handle that when they got so many men constantly bombarding them. And, girls start putting on shows, taking off their clothes and twerking and all kinds of stuff because they know they got a bunch of gentlemen callers, a bunch of eyes watching. So they want to be popular or what have you. And, it's the same for some men. You got a bunch of girls inboxing you. That's temptation. There's a lot of stuff you got to fight through as a couple in this whole, social media world. And it's crazy because these days dudes are like super disrespectful. It's like some kind of thing to, smash somebody's wife. And some of these dudes don't care if they, destroy a family. Y'all got kids together, what have you, been in a relationship for a long time. Some dudes don't care that, your wife is attracted to him. He's going to try to hit that. You don't care if it's going to destroy your family or your relationship that you've been in for years. Some dudes just don't care. I just smoked a blunt with your girlfriend. You got songs like that on the radio. If she catch me cheating, I will never tell her sorry. What kind of shit is that? They be putting in the minds of people, This is what people listening to. This is what the music is talking about. And people ain't figured this shit out yet. I mean, just listen to the music. It's a trap. It's bullshit. And it got so dumbed down over the last decade. And people who really into hip-hop, as I always talk about, I used to be a producer. People who really into hip-hop know. If you really like into lyrics and words, and most dudes is, you understand how it's just dumbed down. And now you got these dribble rappers who just dribble in the same bullshit. It's no kind of content to it. It's just trash, garbage. And for some reason, we going crazy over it. And I don't get it. I see some of the rappers now who've been in the game for a long time, they stressed about the shit because it's crazy. But you can see why it's leaning into that direction. It's dumbing us down, and then all of a sudden you're going to see, as I talked about before, you're going to see all these white artists start coming in with crazy lyrics, super hot, saying crazy stuff, and, switching it around, because that's basically what seems to be happening. We during ancient times was the smart ones. We had all the knowledge, and now it's reversed, to where we've been dumbed down, and they have the wealth and the knowledge, and they look super smart instead of us looking super smart. And they slowly taking over what once was us. And I'm not saying that it's basically, every single white person in the world who's doing this, but it's a system of oppression and control that has established a culture that has, basically destroyed us and keeping us in a state of perpetual ignorance and poverty. And, you do have some people who are doing well, some black people who breaking out of this and doing good things. But again, soon as you start doing well and start doing things and you break out of the matrix and you break out of the bullshit and you decide, you know what, I see what this culture is doing, I don't want to be a part of it, then you get called a coon. You get called all kinds of names from black people because you woke up. You became conscious, so to speak, and you can see the problem. You don't want no parts of it. So as soon as you try to talk against it or protest it anyway, you get opposition from the people who you're trying to help. And this is what's happening to a lot of people. I got a lot of people who send me messages about, what to do about family members, and I got videos on that and always talk about that. And I just tell people to try to be true to yourself, man. That's all you can do. At the end of the day, be you, be successful, because success is what really kills haters. Let them keep talking, keep being successful, keep making money. That's all you really can do. Be successful. And that's what we all should do. That's basically the key to fixing all this. Not just getting rid of the bullshit, subliminal messages in the music and everything like that, but just being personally successful and passing it down and building wealth and passing it down or what have you. Because now, the system is so bad right now, and the people is still in the same state of ignorance about this music, about this culture, that, eventually, who knows where we're going to be at in the next 10 years when you got somebody like Donald Trump as president and you see what he's trying to do. You see what's going on in Chicago. You see the response that they are getting to the so-called violence over there. And it's violence everywhere. But they going to use Chicago right now to go ahead and implement whatever they're trying to do with this whole maybe martial law or sending the feds in there or whatever they're going to do. This is going to be something that's going to affect every single black community, and we really got to pay attention to it. But we got to understand that, the black family, it's been attacked. It's already been destroyed since the fucking 80s. So now, because this music is telling black men to basically find a girl and hit, telling black women to basically only date men that got money, we have this whole distrust between us. So you come into a relationship and people not coming in with their full heart, of course. People coming in with, being real cautious and being real guarded because they're waiting for the ball to drop. They're waiting for the net to fall on them to see the true colors of this man or woman. Now, for the most part, most people at a certain age, say younger people, are all for the culture. They are for basically, they don't want to be serious. Some people don't want to be in a serious relationship. They want to just have fun. And the thing is, if you come into a relationship with that kind of honesty, then it's all good. Just be honest from the start. I don't want nothing serious. I just want to date and go out and, whatever happens, happens. The problem is, a lot of men think from the jump. And I would, 10 years ago, this probably was true. A lot of women coming into relationships wanted a relationship. They didn't want to just be, some chick. They wanted, some kind of commitment. But lately, now, in the last decade or so, women are more open to just being in, fun relationships and just hanging out than being in something serious. But, this is a problem for people who want a serious relationship from the start. Some people come into a relationship and that's how they grew up. You be with somebody and you be just with that one person. But if it just so happens that the person who you like the most has the mindset of hit and leave, then you got a problem. And it's the same problem for men as well. A lot of men they meet a girl and they expect a lot of times, okay, this is a girl. She probably wants a committed relationship. That's what I want as well. So some guys come in trying to, hold on to a girl, and the girl just don't want to be held on to. She just want to try to get what she can get out of a relationship, or just see where it goes and not be so serious from the start. Again, if you're honest from the beginning in a relationship, which most people are not, then these problems won't present itself down the line. And that's like just something you just got to be nowadays. You just have to be real honest from the start with people of what you want and what you expect from a relationship. And, some people just get greedy. Damn, this nigga got money. So I want to say whatever I can say that he want me to say that's going to help me get this money. Or dudes, we say, damn, she got a fat ass. So I'm just going to shut up and, here, take my money until I hit that. And it's just, the state of deception that we come into relationships with. People don't realize it. And then, people who are in committed relationships, they're only going to survive based on, their mindset and the circle of friends around them. And this is what I see a lot because, one, for some reason, you got some women who feel like if it ain't no argument in the relationship, if y'all don't argue, if y'all don't fight, then that nigga don't love you. He don't love you. He don't really care about you if he don't argue with you. And then you just got some dudes who are not willing to put up with that, with that bullshit. You got some dudes who got friends who feel like, your girl ain't that good looking. She don't look good enough. Let's go to the club. You could be in love with your girl or super in love with her and think she's all that, but then your friends is like, she whack. Let's go. And then a female, same thing. Or her friends be like, he work where? Home Depot. Let's go to the club. And then, you have those friends who kind of come in between a good relationship otherwise, and destroy it. So you really got to have a good group of friends. And you got to be on the same page as, the person you're in a relationship with, because if not, it's just not going to work. I always tell people I've been in every single relationship you can name. I've been in every kind of relationship. I've had the crazy girl. I had the stalker. I had a relationship that I thought was good. I had a relationship that was bad from the start, but, the sex was great. And I had all kinds of crazy, weirdo relationships. But for me, like, my teenage years and young adult years, I was in the military. So it's like almost impossible for you to keep a stable relationship when you're young and in the military. Because one, girls that's your age that you messing with, they're not really trying to be in a committed relationship when you're out to sea for 6 months, to 9 months, and they just at home and they just supposed to, not do nothing, especially at their age. So it's hard to keep a faithful woman at their age. I have 2 kids. My daughter's mom is African from Liberia, and my son mom she's black from the hood. So it's just sometimes stuff happen to where you might want to have a serious relationship, but the circumstances in your life don't allow that to happen. And that was the case with me, and the case with a lot of people in the military. I know you can't hold on to relationships when you're away. So I always tell people, if you find somebody and y'all around each other and get to be around each other all the time, hold on to that. That's something, especially if it works, that's something that's worth keeping. And the problem is with so many people living in this culture and driven by it and living by, this whole ghetto politics, it's hard to find a girl that you really want to hold on to that doesn't subscribe to this ghetto bullshit, I should say. So the black relationship is attacked, every day, 24/7. And it takes real conscious people, 2 conscious people. I think you can only really be conscious black people and have a successful relationship today. I mean, anybody who really subscribes to this culture is going to fall victim to it, except for those who are really mindful of it. Not everybody has bad relationships, black people in the hood. Not everybody. I know some black people that have been together for years and they still live in poverty, but they make it work somehow. They working together. And that's just something like we don't see a lot, a woman accepting a man for what he has at that moment and what he could become, instead of, everything that they want. Some people come into a relationship and they selfish from the start. You work where, you doing what? I don't want you. Not even knowing the ambitions and goals of that man, what he's trying to do, what he want to become, and everything he's working towards to be there. As a man in a relationship, we take a lot of slack. Men get it the worst because we're providers. We got to provide. Not just that, it's you got to at the same time be a man, and you got to duck the cops. You got to survive out here from people who might be trying to rob you, people who hate on you. It's tough. It's tough, to where, some women can luck up and might find that guy with a bunch of money and be set, if that guy just wants her. For men, it's a little bit hard. There's a lot we have to put up with and a lot we got to duck, because then you got to also watch out for women who may be completely gorgeous, who might just want your money. So, it's so many, pitfalls, there's so many challenges that we face, which is why some men just come into these relationships with, the eyes wide open, or one train of thought. Either I'm going to hit or I'm not. If she ain't trying to let me hit, I'm out. Keep it moving. And it's because of, people past and what people have gone through in relationships. And a lot of people bring those baggages into new relationships, and it hurts the relationship. Everybody has probably been with a person who left a relationship that, boyfriend or girlfriend was cheating a lot. So they really on your top and really paranoid about what you're doing, who texting you, who calling you at this time, who DM'd you, as soon as your phone make a sound, who is that? We go through that, and you got to understand, all this stuff is just based off of this culture that, if somebody calling home at this time, he probably playing me. You could be spending every single day with your girl. She know where you at, you know where she at. She call you all the time, y'all together all the time. Who is that? Every time. It's like, what the hell with you 24/7? You got to, password to my Instagram and Facebook, everything. Why would you even think that I'm doing something wrong when you have access to everything? When you know where I'm at, I'm not doing nothing. But it's still something, that pops up in their head that makes them think that they are not secure, in their relationship, and that they can possibly lose you. And this is another thing that puts a strain on a relationship because of the culture that we live in. And not just that, what girls see from their friends and what happened in their friends' relationships. Some people got girlfriends where they know they seem to have everything together, and then all of a sudden she finds out that, this dude was cheating and he got a baby with some other girl or what have you. And we know all the stories that happen. All of it, everything that we see, all the problems that we see, when you really examine it, it all stems from the culture. It all goes back to some form of cheating, or you trying to play me, or what have you. Something that this culture is making us act out. And a lot of people can't really grasp it, because it's the culture, it's what you live in, it's what you're used to. And a lot of people can't see the problem because, it's entertainment. So at the end of the day, this is what you got to think about. This is what it all comes down to, and you have to really ponder this. One, you have to look at all the corporations, all the companies that spend millions of dollars, endorsing athletes. $90 million to LeBron James to wear sneakers. Think about all the sports teams that pay these black players, $100 million over, 5 years or what have you. Billions of dollars a year going into these athletes and entertainers. All this money that they are getting, meanwhile, the black community is in poverty. Just think about that. Think about how all these schools are closing, and how these schools that are open need so much equipment, that need help. They need things to help these black kids learn, to even, really be a good athlete, or to become something successful later on. It's a fight. It's a struggle to make it to the pros, to get there. That's crazy what they go through. They go through a lot to get to the pros. And you got to be really talented, and you got to have dedication, and you got to have the support of a family, that got the means to back you while you try to get there. But they put billions of dollars a year, these corporations, into entertainment, just to entertain you, to keep you distracted from being successful yourself. Billions of dollars. What are they getting from it? They making a profit. They making money from it, of course. But what is it really doing? What is it for? What? For entertainment? What is it really doing? If they trying to help people, they trying to do something positive, they will put their money into the communities. You see all these sports teams. They sponsor Make-A-Wish. They sponsor all these kids' foundations that help these kids and something that got to do with sports. And all this money go to all these charities. Charities, they getting, millions of dollars coming in, raking in. And all these corporations and all these sports teams are all about, well, we want to help people and I want to see kids do this and I want to see kids do that. But meanwhile, the community is still in the state that it's in. It's still crime in Chicago, it's still crime in Philly, Baltimore, New York. Crime is still crazy in all these different cities all over. Crime in Texas, crime in California. And, it's stuff that these corporations and these businesses can do to help fix that problem. But they rather, give millions of dollars to the Make-A-Wish Foundation or to some other foundation that's already getting millions of dollars from some other place. And they rather give $100 million to some ball player and tell him not to go back to the community and help it and to fix it. When are you going to see that this is a trap? It's just designed to keep you exactly where you at. We ain't went nowhere, people. We still in the same shit. You talking about what? It's only been like 49 years or 47 years since Dr. King was assassinated. There's people still alive from that time. It's not that long ago. So it's not just about racism. It's deeper than that. It's not just about keeping the black family apart and, not united and not trusting each other. It's deeper than that. It's a lot more to it that we got to realize that, the very thing that we draw inspiration from, because a lot of people say I get inspiration from music. I get inspiration from seeing LeBron James play basketball and stuff like that. And they pursue it. Even in pursuing these things and becoming successful, what have you, you are not contributing back to the black community and helping black people. And as I said before, it's a competition. It's a competition. They're not just going to give you money. They're not just going to help you out and give you a boost in overcoming their oppression. But they'll give a boost, all these foundations. Fucking the Boy Scouts. All the money that they get. So many charities that get all kinds of money from so many different places. And I never see on these game shows, I never see watching these sports games a charity for the hood, the black community. You don't see that. Not even to put a rec center or some kind of after school program or something like that. It's nothing is being done. Nothing is ever going to be done. And we keep sitting around still waiting for something to be done and not realizing it's not going to never happen. So that's basically really it. The sabotage of the black family and the black relationship really it starts with poverty. It starts with creating poverty, which is basically going to put a strain on a relationship when you introduce drugs and you introduce crime and everything like that. This music is already the weapons, the ingredients to destroy the black family. And then they have little countermeasures. They have little things in place to take advantage of the situation. So when you're trying to make money by selling drugs, boom, you booked, go to jail. Now you out of the household. Mom got to raise the kid by herself. It's not possible for her to do it. It's tough. So that already is destroying the family right there. And it's stuff that we already know. All y'all know this. A lot of people don't want to come to grips with it and really embrace it and understand it. And that's part of the problem. And we don't speak on it. We'll speak fast if it's some white people stuff. But when it comes to stuff like this, we don't speak on it. People don't want to talk up and say, yo, this stuff messing this up because it's not popular. It's corny to say stuff like this. So it's what's really contributing to our downfall. And again, it's not ever going to change. And people just keep sitting around thinking that this shit going to get better and all this and that. No, you going to get better. You're going to go out and be successful and do something personally and get away from this shit. But it's still going to be what it is here in the hood. People still going to grow up. The cycle's still going to continue. If you get out and you doing fine, that's all well and good. But everybody who's living in there, who's living under this culture, is still going to be feeling the ramifications of it and the effects of it. And it's just that simple. It's exactly what they want. Plain and simple. It's how it's going to be. Nothing is going to change it until we change it. And the control that it has on us to where people can't see it, it's just crazy. It just shows me how powerful that it is, and that it is this that's working. That's the problem. What else could it be? Sit back and think about it. What else is it? What's the problem? And immediately people are going to go straight to white man. White man this, white man that. Show me these white people who coming into the black community and keeping it oppressed. I told y'all before, they doing this shit from remote control. They're doing it from remote control. From your TV, from your radio. And we acting out the rest. Ain't nobody coming into the black community that's white and just destroying shit. Making us shoot each other and stuff like that and sell drugs. It's not happening. It's us. But it's them that's putting this music out, this government system, these people, these bankers, these fucking corporations that's backing all this stuff. So we keep pointing our finger at the wrong enemy instead of pointing it at the people who are really behind the problems in the black community. And I'm just tired of seeing so many people stand up and just keep talking about the problems in the black community. And you got to bring money, and we need money for this. And don't get me wrong, they right. They right. Definitely should put money in the black community just like they put money in the white community. It's only fair because we pay taxes. We spend more money than anybody, so some of that money should come back. That's one thing. But they're not going to do that. It's not going to happen. And it's like clearly not going to happen. Like I said, that's too much like right. They ain't going to do the right thing if it's going to benefit us. I mean, if they do that, if they actually started, putting money into the black community and helping the black community out, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? We are going to get into a position eventually to open our own businesses and challenge their wealth. Because if we as black people had the same kind of product as them, as I said before, and we putting it out in our community going to buy. We're going to support each other because one, it's just right there. People go to the store because of convenience. That's why they call it the convenience store. It's right there. So if that store right there and it's yours, it's this black guy store and everything right, then of course, people going to go in, they're going to shop, they're going to spend their money. It seems like, the Dominicans figured that out. The Asians, the Koreans, Chinese people figured that out. White people, of course, been figured that out. We're the only people who ain't figured that out yet. Because our goal is to be, more so an entertainer, a rapper, dancer, or what have you, than to be a successful business owner. Because that's corny. Gotta go to school and all that shit. People don't want to do that. It's too much work. And this is the mindset, that we have. And it's not everybody. I'm just saying, talking about the hood. Not everybody. It's not everybody in the hood. Some people want to get out of there, excuse me. It's not everybody. And it's messed up that, a lot of people hurt themselves. Because a lot of people who do want to get out, they sabotage themselves by, being a part of all this stuff. And it's really because a lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't get it. A lot of people just think it's music and think the culture is what it is. It's just how it's supposed to be. And this is just how we are, when really they made us this way. And I always say that. Hip-hop is not us. This is not who we are. It's who they made us to be. So if you have control of the music, we don't control it. If you have control of what's being put out, then you put out what you want to put out. So you see we went from good music, positive music, uplifting music, the singers back in the day singing about keeping your woman and, loving the black woman and this and that, begging all the time, begging a black woman. You don't see that no more. She's a hoe now. She's a bitch. She's a thought. She ain't, I ain't begging her no more. No more Keith Sweat. So, no more Boys to Men songs. Down on my knees, on bending knee, all those songs. Positive shit, it's gone. We got to deal with the negativity. And you can see this is what they clearly putting out. And this is them putting it out. It's not us. So it's almost like a state of entrapment. I don't want to say entrapment. I just want to say, what else we got? What else you going to do? You say to this brother, if you put this kind of music out, I'll give you this money. What else you going to do? You're not going to get it from nowhere else. 2-time felon, can't get no job, but he can rap. He sound good on the mic. He'll go a check for $2 million for you to go do these songs degrading women, what you think he gonna pick? And you know, that's the trap. That's the problem. Just this what's been going on. So we see it, and it's basically, you know, how they sabotage the black relationship and the black family. And as I said, begin with poverty, and you know, now the culture, all of it is under their control. It could have been fixed decades ago, but they won't fix it. It will stay this way until we fix it ourselves. But in order to do that, we got to first realize that it's the problem. It is the problem. It's nothing else you can point to that I can think of. It's nothing else you can point to as being a problem. It's something that they put out that's in us that we got to look in the mirror and find it and see it and accept it as being a problem and get rid of it. And again, a lot of people are not going to be able to do that because they find it entertaining. It's entertaining. So it is what it is. But I can get into a whole bunch of other little personal shit on why the black family is not working out, why the black relationship not working out, you know. But that's like stupid stuff. It's back and forth little shit. Excuse me. Little fights that we get into that is really driven by the culture. You know, oh, you talking to her, who that in your inbox? Oh, so you cheating. Oh, who this nigga right here who always liking your pictures? So you cheating. You know, all that little dumb shit that we get into this because of social media and because of the culture. I mean, I can get into all that, but we know what that is. It's the culture. It is what it is. But thank you guys for watching. See you guys next video. New DVD out. If it's not out now, it'll be out later. And more videos to come. So thank you guys for watching. See you next video.